Welcome everybody to the Latin Nerds Network. My name is Jose and this is my review for The Fabelmans, the newest film by the GOAT, the greatest of all time, the best director we've ever had, at least in my opinion. That's of course the one great Steven Spielberg here who always brings it. Listen, there's a movie by Spielberg, odds are it's going to be good. And this one's no different. Now, I'm not gonna go as far as to agree with a lot of the critics who've seen this movie already, and it's got a high, rating on Rotten Tomatoes and one of his best films. And I keep hearing like Oscar associated or attached to this film. I wouldn't go that far for a couple of reasons, which I'll get into in a moment. But overall, it's still a good film, well made as expected by someone of his caliber, and I enjoyed it. I just wish it had little more to offer than what it did, at least for me, anyway. Now, this is interesting because this is probably his most personal film, without question. Because this is basically, it's a semi-autobiographical, film about him and his youth, and he getting started with his love of film, right? And those who know about Spielberg's, how he grew up and with his family and the issues with the parents and getting divorced, moving from Phoenix to California, et cetera, et cetera. All that's kind of displayed, and I guess it's semi-autobiographical, but it's not really about him per se, but it's to some degree a lot of it's taken from that through the eyes or through the lens of this fictional family called the Fabelmans here. You have his mother, played by Michelle Williams, who, by the way, is really good in this film. She was the best part of the film. Her performance is great. We got Paul Dano, who I like, at playing Spielberg's dad, and it's kind of just juxtaposition with the parents, where the mom is very artistic. She's a piano player, right, more of a free thinker, and the father is more analytical. He was an engineer. Working on computers at the time, which is a big deal back in the 40s and 50s and all that. And of course, as a young age, he, aspired to be a filmmaker. Picked up his camera, started making his little home films, and kind of grew from there. And then the movie's not just about that, because again, it's a very personal film, so it dives into what happened with his parents. Well, at least in this particular story, we all know his parents got divorced in real life, and that really inspired movies like E.T., for example. And a lot of his movies, particularly early on, focused on that broken family, which he felt so associated with. But dealing with this kid who is dealing with seeing his parents' marriage ultimately disintegrate, and the reasons why, right? And it's because of him making a film, he discovers what went on with the family, with the parents, essentially, and him having to deal with that. So it's got that mixed in there with the coming of age, and and it's a movie which, it's well done, it's pleasant, it's got some funny moments, but it kind of lost its way at times, where it's a 2.5 hour film. It should have probably been around 2 hours, to be honest with you. It's a little bit too long, and you feel it because the movie kind of goes off in a tangent at times. After a really strong first hour, there's some scenes in there that's like, they almost feel like they belong in a different film, and I get why they're in there, but it just didn't come together for me. And the emotional moments, which after having the family go through the divorce, and those issues with that, or Michelle Williams' character dealing with what she's dealing with, I just couldn't connect with it for whatever reason, which is surprising because Spielberg is a master storyteller. He really is, and he, no matter what, he always does a great job of getting you to care about the characters. Not to say I didn't care about it, but it felt like I was just watching it from the outside, as opposed to being through the eyes of him, or the boy's, the main character, the boy, teenager, or even the rest of the family. I just couldn't quite connect. Those moments didn't quite hit for me. But I did, that being said, I think it will for a lot of people. Obviously, based on their early reviews, it obviously has connected with a lot of people. So I get it. This could be just a me thing. You could feel differently when you watch it if you decide to go see it. But that being said, there are cool moments in here. It's a really good story, very raw. It's not your typical blockbuster type film that Spielberg is known to give us. Even something like West Side Story wasn't exactly like a Marvel film, but it was a big production. Obviously, the spectacle behind it, incredibly well made. This one here is really well made, but it's a different kind of film. I don't think it's going to really hit the general audience as much as other films would. But that being said, it's good. I enjoyed just the connection wasn't there. The narrative is kind of skewed in tangents at times for me, to really make this a great film for me to sit there and agree that, oh yeah, this is, this it's going to be called to an Oscar. I don't know. It probably will because it's Spielberg and his name carries weight, and I get it. But maybe Michelle Williams, who I can agree it was great in the film. I think she really carried the movie. So, but that being said, listen, I enjoyed it. It's good, solid filmmaking. If you're a Spielberg fan, absolutely go watch it. You might have a difference of opinion, and that's great. I hope you guys do. But that being said, if you do, comment, let me know what you guys thought about it. And of course, if you haven't done so already, subscribe below and feed money to go to the movies and talk about it afterwards. See you guys next time.